Good afternoon and welcome to your weekly current affairs program. 60 Minutes Nigeria is a program, a platform where we dissect national issues. Don't forget, a lot is happening, especially in the political scene. Edo 2020 governorship election is around the corner, 19th of September 2020, and of course, that of Ondo will be after the governorship election in Edo State. My name is Erosa Agbola, welcoming you to this week's edition of the program. I also have with me very distinguished personalities who will join me dissect the topic that we have today. I have a communication strategist, a communication expert, and president of United in Democracy, a pressure group for good, advocating for good governance, Eigaloa Andrew. Nice to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
I also have with us a legal luminary and of course a law lecturer, a man who has made his name in the legal jurisprudence in this country, Professor Joe Ojo. Nice to have you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, viewers.
So, what's the topic for today? IGP, Inspector General of Police, orders mop-up of prohibited firearms. That is what we're looking at today, ahead of the Edo and Ondo governorship elections. For Edo elections, like I told you, 19th of September. Now, it is believed that the security agencies have pivotal role to play in ensuring free and fair, credible elections. Apart from INEC, it is believed that the police and other sister security agencies surely have to be up and doing. And the IGP has started it by saying, arrest anyone with prohibited firearms, mop up firearms to ensure peaceful conduct of the elections. Let's get the thoughts of Andrew Eigaloa, President United Democracy, always advocating for good governance. What's your take on this? Do you think the IGP is in order?
Well, I would say the IGP is coming a little bit late.
Okay.
The issue of insecurity in Nigeria has long been pregnant, and it has given birth to monsters that is now ravaging the country.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because, you know, in every civilized society, the first duty of a good government is to protect lives of citizens and properties.
Okay.
Without that, nothing meaningful will happen in that country or that society. Now, in a situation whereby we have the normal conventional police, yes, which is static, which everybody knows these are the people in charge of security of lives and property. Yeah. And in Nigeria, I think Nigeria is the only country I think is practicing this situation whereby you now, kind of admit quasi-security outfits to combine with police that is meant to handle this situation. What do you expect? Security is not for not a child's play, whereby you just gather some few people, I don't know what they call it, vigilante, moteku, one thing, just give them funny names, then you now give them arms to secure lives. You know what that means? Let me let you know. If an untrained somebody is holding a gun with bullets, if you are not properly trained, there's a spirit that goes along with gun. If you are not properly trained to manage that gun, you will use it indiscriminately. You will use it indiscriminately. But I've seen the situation whereby a trained police officer, you will serve in the army or the police force security agency for 30 years with gun at your disposal 24 hours, but you won't use it for one day because there was no situation, to warrant using it. But in Nigeria, you see guns in the hands of every Dick and Harry. What do you expect? And we are in an uncivilized society where people don't even know the law. That's what we are seeing today. And do you know that most of these security outfits, they were supposed to assist the police in combing out these criminals. But at the long run, the adverse effect is the case, whereby these so-called vigilante that are in possession of these firearms, sometimes they hire these guns to criminals to go and rob, and they pay back dividends. And like now, it's like business. The other day I was listening to news. I saw.
That's an allegation against them. Cannot substantiate.
Of course, I know.
Yeah,
but then,
substantiate that.
the other day I was listening to news. A monarch was arrested.
Yes.
For involving in kidnapping.
Yeah, that is the eastern part of.
In the eastern part of Nigeria, and I think such monarch has a legitimate right to harbor those ammunition that he was seen with because of his personal recognition on the ground that maybe he's trying to take care, guide his locality and all that. But at the end, that same monarch used that gun to be involved in kidnapping. Does that make sense? And
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And recently, in front of the Oba Palace, we saw sporadic shooting from civilians right in front of the Oba Palace, using guns as if it's toy. It was like if they were acting in Nollywood movies. So the situation, I think, my brother, it has gotten out of hands, and we need a proactive measures to be able to curtail this
Thank
illegal.
you, Andrew Aigaloa. Well, he posited that to him, he said the IGP order is coming late, but the IGP actually made that order on the 16th of August, and the elections is scheduled for 19th of September. Prof, do you think the IGP's order is coming late?
Well, would I really call it an order? I don't think it's really an order. Well, for me, it's, in quotes, it's more of a reminder, really.
Okay.
It's a reminder because I know previous IGs, the regulations all the while. Even the president himself, Buhari himself, had to make the pronouncement one time on retrieval of firearms in people's custody across the country, and of course, a lot of people read meaning to that. So it's been a regulation, really, to regulate and monitor who can have firearms in their possession, how you can use it, and what caliber of firearms you can use. So it's not really something new, actually. I think it's just like more of a wake-up call. Like you said, it's coming a bit late, but better be late than never. But beyond that, I think it's just one of those reactionary measures we have in the country. This fire brigade thing we always do. When things are getting out of hand, we want to take a sporadic step and all that, and more like playing to the gallery, really. Because if you ask me, firearm regulation, there are laws, like I said, there are regulations on firearms, prohibition, and all that, which ought to be enforced all through the not. It doesn't have to be election period, it doesn't be period of what have you. It shouldn't be tied to a specific period. It should be a continuous exercise, really. So that those who shouldn't have firearms should not have them. Those who should have them should have it. And when they have it, you also monitor how they use it and for what purpose they use it.
Yes.
And again, I want to believe that the IG's order in quotes, like I said, it's not really to mop up firearms. It should be illegal firearms or firearms
actually prohibited firearms.
Good, really, because there are regulations on firearms and the rest. There are those who can apply for hunting rifles. Our hunters have firearms. You can't stop them from hunting. They must hunt. So those ones are entitled to have it. Individuals can apply for a certain caliber of firearms for self-protection too. License, barrier, English barrier, and all that. People have them, and they have to renew it from time to time. You can't retrieve those ones. There are servicemen who have disengaged, they attend to their official service weapons, even if they are retired till they die. You can't retrieve those ones. There are private security agencies, organizations that are licensed to employ security outfits. They go into private arrangements to protect lives of property institutions. They are licensed, they have fire, you can't retrieve those ones. So the regulations must be put in the right perspective. You see, and then beyond that, I think we are going to a situation in this country where we have to liberalize our arms use and control, really.
Yeah, I think that's another aspect we'll look at.
It's very fundamental.
In the course of this discussion,
okay, maybe we should,
because the governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, actually made that public statement calling for the federal government to actually allow people to own arms for self. We are going to talk about
no problem.
But looking at let's dovetail now to the elections. The IGP made this order, this period, precisely because of the elections. So let's get the thought of Andre Galois again. Now, we've seen a situation where thugs destabilize electoral process, ballot snatching, and we also understand that it's been a cankerworm, really. So don't you think actually getting these arms off these unauthorized persons will ensure a peaceful conduct of Edo election?
Well, to me, getting these arms, retrieving these arms from these hoodlums and thugs and all that. For now, I don't think it's going to be possible because it's too close, and these people, the thugs and the hoodlums, they must have, gone to keep their arms. The only solution I think they should do, this thing is now beyond the police.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
Ordinarily, in our constitution, election is supposed to be civil.
Okay. In
a civilized society, it is the police that is supposed to handle it. But the situation that we are now in Edo, the tense situation that we are, this upcoming Edo state gubernatorial election should be handled by the military. Not just drafting the military on that day, but a week before the election.
Okay.
It should be in town. Then on the election day, the police should be made to assist the military on every polling unit. I've observed elections in this state, in this country. I've seen situations whereby you will see police, they will be looking at ballot snatching, fighting, and what have you. They won't talk because, our citizens, sorry to say this, they don't have respect for our police anymore. The only people, the only outfit or security outfit they have respect for is the military. And if they want this election to be free and fair, let the government draft in the military. Not only on the day of the election, a week before the election. That's when we're going to observe a free and fair election. Otherwise, it's not going to be only snatching of ballot boxes. It's going to be free flow of using guns, ammunitions.
But we've seen situations where the military were deployed to assist in ensuring security during elections, and citizens complain after such the exercise.
Let me tell you.
Yes.
Like I said, I have voted and I have observed the military presence in any polling booth.
Okay.
It is nothing to be, compared to when policemen are allowed to man the booth. I'm telling you the truth.
Yes.
The military, they don't scare anybody, but seeing them alone at your polling unit, you will maintain. Go to the queue. Yes, you will go to the queue, vote, and go home.
Okay.
And there's never any time the military will man polling unit that you will see crisis in that unit. No matter what. The worst you will see, maybe afar. You will go afar and start making your noise. But within that periphery, it's always peaceful. So they shouldn't clamor for policemen to be allowed to man this Edo State election. That is my candid opinion. Okay. The military should be drafted in, and not just on that election day, a week before the election day. Because, like I told you, the arms are already hidden somewhere. It's just too late now to be combing, to say you want to combat these illegal arms. It's too late. The only way we can reduce the crisis on that day is drafting in the military.
Prof, what's your take on this?
Okay, tying this issue to the Edo State elections, like Raleigh said. Well, first and foremost, I think beyond the arms per se, it is the psyche of the youth and the politicians that really matters a lot. Okay. Their psyche, once you are able to get it out of their mind that you don't need violence or you don't need to be armed, you don't need guns to win elections, I think that would be the first step. But even a man who has a gun, like I said, who is going to hide the gun, may find that there's no need for the gun on that day or a day before or a week before. So the psyche matters a lot. I think that is why I'm happy that a lot of efforts have been made to downplay violence and hate speech and rhetoric over the election. That was the first step. Then beyond that one, the issue of retrieving guns before election is also a misplaced move, if you ask me. You don't need to announce that in the first place because, like I said, haven't announced it now. They're going to hide the guns now. And so if you needed to retrieve arms from people before election, must you go and tell people, what's the DSS doing? But
it was a directive to the commissioners of police.
But we should come open before the press. I'm not discussing it now.
Okay.
Not to the press. Those actually come by way of memo-coded messages that even you pressmen shouldn't be aware of. Okay. Because the idea is that you want these guys to go swing into action. So surprise visit to houses, flashpoints. You retrieve them. If you know this, maybe a local, for example, now you know the flashpoint of local, you go there and just surprise them. Where they're hiding on the ceiling or under the ground, you retrieve it and go quietly. But I haven't made it public now. They're going to hide it now. Like I said, they relocate those arms because they're already in circulation. But what they can do beyond that is to block more because it's never enough for these boys if they really want to be up and doing. So what do? You have to, the borders have to be manned, the DSS, your security operatives, the plainclothes policemen have to be on the ground and move around, find that area, those who produce the guns. I reading the newspaper report yesterday about a man, some 3 guys who were arrested who were into manufacture of guns. fact, they were arrested because they came to a hotel to supply a gun to their customer who turned out to be armed robbers. The police have been training the armed robbers, and they got them in the hotel, arrested the armed robbers and the gun runners. And they said they manufactured these guns because in the community, the chiefs allowed them to manufacture guns to protect them against supposedly headsmen. So people have lost faith in the security outfit. Like I said, even the military are talking about what's happening in Kaduna State, for example. The military outfit will be there, they will strike in the evening or wherever, and then nobody can come for that. So people are starting to even look car manufacturing. So how do you block them? Make sure these people are stopped from manufacturing this equipment. People produce bullets. Most of the arms are locally made. Of course, those are the imports. We talk about the ports. So the ones that are locally made now, those who manufacture the guns, who supply the bullets, try and stop them first. Let there be no supply of the ammunition, and then the demand, even if it's there, will also fizzle out.
We drop.
Will drop. Then for those who are already armed, find a way to do it clandestinely, not this open-ended thing that people are already aware of. And then most importantly, like I said, the security outfits know these people. That's the truth.
But like you said, like you said, the presence of the military, we're also aware that Nigerians actually respect the military. Well, now, when you see soldiers in polling units, the thugs, they will stay clear.
Let me address that quickly. The problem we have over the years that, you see, that is brought a perspective, which ordinarily, if you are unbiased, you accept it. But when it comes to electioneering and elections, one person will say you have militarized the process. Elections will be it's a civil, like I said, you don't need the military in the electoral process. Once you allow the soldiers to come so close, that's why the Electoral Act itself, the laws that regulate elections, the soldiers should not be at the polling units. It's against the law, actually. What they can do, they can be in the precinct. They have a certain location, meters or radius you can give where they can be located, stand by. Even these policemen, they're all not to be armed, also against the law. That's why you go to police, they're not armed, they're there with their batting. So that's why you see the boys can misbehave. But because the law is very clear on what to be done, when the hoodlums, quote unquote, when they come to the ballot, to the polling unit now, because everywhere is looking civil, they come and snatch. They will not fly to the air now. Will they snatch and disappear?
No.
They're going to drive through some street now. So when they snatch and they move, then the soldiers will swoop on them. Don't forget, 2015 election, somebody was shot dead because he was trying to make away with the ballot papers. And when I was on SP 2011, I remember I worked with soldiers. The captain was the leader of my team. I was on SP then as a young lecturer. And they were not close to the polling unit. They were somewhere far off. And one or two incidents I had, I just called them. So the soldiers need not be in the polling unit. They can be somewhere close. But it is when there's complacency, that's the truth. When these people can be compromised, they can be compromised. That is where you find that you have soldiers stationed close to a polling unit, and somebody will snatch a ballot paper or ballot box as it were, and then he will escape. Nothing will happen. Then there's compromise somewhere. That somebody is negligent or have been compromised. But these actually is soldiers who are put there to man. Maybe they stay in the place where they can oversee about 5 polling units. They're armed, they're waiting. You have the policemen who are plain clothes, who are uniform, who don't have guns waiting. The same soldiers who are there, so have other security outfits. That you have policemen, we have civil defense, they're all there. And some of them will be armed with police soldiers. So there's nobody who has not compromised the police or security agency that can come and pick a ballot box and go freely without getting arrested. Not say you should kill anybody. Sometimes they say you should shoot and kill. But that is not true. So just believe me when I say that if anybody takes ballot paper because he's armed, shoots to the air and all that, and gets away because you have compromised security. It's not because they have arms. There's no amount of arms you can have, apart from the allegation against Boko Haram. The thugs we have, at least in our precinct now, they cannot claim to be more armed than the police and the soldiers we have. They cannot.
Andrew, I was itching to make a comment.
We are just talking from the academic side of it.
Let me hear your perspective.
In politics, elections, there's what we call protect your votes.
I think we've heard that. Protect your votes. So,
in elections like this, there is a particular unit or area, local government that a particular political party knows that he's going to win. Sure. But what this hoodlums does is go there, cause destruction, cause confusion, snatch the ballot papers, snatch whatever from ECI, whatever, let it not be seen, so that they can't count those votes. Because if counted, it's going to give your opponent edge. You understand? That is why they go there. So when we talk about protecting votes, it's standing by, making sure you vote, and the votes are counted and escorted into the INEC van straight to the final point of collation. Otherwise, it is only the votes that are brought into the collation center or collation room that will be counted. That is why you see some people that you think they are obvious on winning an election, but when they start counting, you will be surprised the opponent will win, because it is the votes that they brought into the collation center that were counted that gave this man the vote.
But as civilians, ordinarily, civilians are allowed to protect their vote. When I hear comments like that, defend your vote, sometimes it's appalling.
No. When you say defend, it doesn't mean fight. When you vote, don't go home. Stand and wait till everybody votes and the votes are being counted. That is why we have people, we call the units, units agents from each political party. Wait until the votes are casted, counted, and make sure you stand by to follow the votes to the collation center and still wait till everything is entered into the system before you go home. Otherwise, if you vote and go home and the other party stays, your votes will be voided. This is Nigeria. That is why, not snatching the ballot boxes. No, don't wait for them to snatch. Stay behind. That is the presence. That is why we need the presence of the military. We are not saying they should go to the particular spot. Give some distance, let their vehicle be there. Let their personnel be there, be watching. The hoodlums, they know that if you form mess, this military will take you and put you in their vehicle and take you away. But if it's the police, my brother, it's like, I don't know, it's only in Nigeria you just see a policeman as somebody that is, I don't know how to put it, that is irrelevant. In the Western world, if a policeman is talking to you, keep quiet until he or she finishes with you. You don't move. But in Nigeria, you see Nigerian police and civilians exchanging pleasantries, gisting, and because you collect money from them. You are no more relevant. So for you to be a policeman abroad, first and foremost, you are somebody. They will look at your family background, who they are, if they are disciplined, before they even recruit you into the police, because they know who they are giving their uniform to. They know the duty they are going to perform. Maintain law and order, and don't compromise. I've seen elections that you see policemen gisting with voters and the party that the highest bidder. Then when you are now shouting, police, look at this man, he's not supposed to leave him, let him be there. I've seen cases. I'm using myself as an example. When I was in a particular political party, I was a member of a unit. I was there, and some things, some funny, things were going on, and I called the attention of the police. Okay, look at this man, he's not let him be there. I kept quiet, and that was it. So all nefarious activities will happen if the military are not drafted into this election. Okay,
the relevant authorities are watching. Today's program is also an abridged version because of COVID-19, and that's part of the negative impact. But there will be an educational program immediately after this talk show, current affairs talk show. And so, your party was bro. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, your party was.
Well, like I've said before, you see, the issue of mopping up of arms can still be done. Okay. But I want to advise next time it should not be done on in the public. It should be done clandestinely, because these things are already in circulation. And so you should deploy all their security, their plain clothes, their underground people to the flashpoints, and of course some big names we know, those who we know are merchants of violence. They know themselves, and please know them. Call them to order, invite them, and tell them to keep those things. The ones that are registered, them. The ones not registered, we retrieve them. Some pose as vigilante groups. They come with a lot of pseudonyms to be armed. Those who are not licensed should be retrieved. And can be done before the election to reduce the volume or quantum of arms that we have.
Thank you, Prof. Your party was?
My party
just
was,
a quick one.
Yeah, the federal government or whoever is in charge of security should not be sentimental about this whole issue. They should make sure peace reigns. The military should be drafted in, not only on that particular day of the election, a week before the election, they should be seen around the town moving to maintain a tranquil election on that day. Thank you.
That's a good one. I hope you have enjoyed this week's edition of the program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. We've actually looked at Edo election as regards the security perspective, where the IGP, Inspector General of Police, has actually directed the Commissioner of Police to ensure that prohibited firearms are retrieved and offenders arrested, no matter the public standing, no matter the status in society. I've been talking with my very wonderful guest, Professor Job Odion, and of course, Andrew Ehigalua. Thanks for your comments.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
And our viewer there, thanks for your time. Next week will be another week where we'll be looking at another issue. Until then, have a wonderful weekend ahead. Bye-bye.